Welcome to Life After Divorce, Honest Conversation for Women podcast. I'm Fiona May. This podcast is for women navigating separation, divorce, or the rebuilding that comes after, especially if you're feeling uncertain, emotionally tied, or questioning who you are now. Divorce changes more than a relationship. It can change your confidence, your identity, and your sense of what the future holds, even when the direction was the right one. Here, we have honest, grounded conversations about what life after divorce really looks like, emotionally, practically, and personally. Some episodes are conversational between myself and my co-host, Sandra Lee. Others include inspiring women and trusted experts who understand this chapter of life deeply. This space isn't about fixing you because you're not broken. It's about support, clarity, and reminding you that you're not alone as you move forward. I'm so glad you're here. Let's jump in and start with today's episode. Hi, everybody. It's Fiona May
And Sandra Lee.
and we are the Women on Transition hosts for the Reset and Shine podcast. So we've got a fabulous topic today, and I'll let Sandra introduce it.
Yeah, we've got an amazing guest speaker, a financial advisor, and Manisha Buddia is going to share with you a little bit about her story, but certainly be able to give us great tips and strategies and advice on what to do after we've come through a separation and divorce and what those first steps are. Many women we know, we've worked now with many thousands, have found that people giving bad advice, they're intentionally good advice, but it's usually bad advice and putting people in the wrong direction. And at that time, it's that risk period that you can actually really put yourself into some really significant challenges of potentially even losing what you do have, or maybe even not being able to acquire what you should have. So, Manisha, welcome.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome. So, Manisha, would love to hear a little bit about maybe what got you here and then maybe some tips and strategies and maybe some examples of some of the girls you've been working with as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. So this is such a critical, important subject because I've navigated this journey myself personally. I come out from a really long-term relationship, and then finding my footing with my own finances was quite daunting. So I've been in the finance industry for about 26 years now. So background chartered accountant, CPA, and then I sidestepped into wealth management or financial planning about 14 years ago. And that's purely because of I realized my purpose and passion that in this lifetime, I wanted to use my capability to help people make sound financial decisions, especially women, and especially once you've gone through the traumatic life crisis of separation. Why? Because generally, when you look at women, we are the ones who are nurturers by nature. And especially when you have children in the family, we are the ones who take the back foot when it comes to caring for them, which means that we are always 10 steps behind when it comes to our own money management. What I've come to realize over the years that when I have women coming through your program, the Women on Transition, it's not only about their own emotional healing. This is where you step in and you absolutely help them recalibrate back again. But there's also this financial impact, which is quite significant because statistics are very clear that for a female to recover financially post-separation, it's almost a 7 to 8 year time frame, which is quite a lot. Right?
People would be reluctant to even maybe get separated or divorced. It could be a blockage for them to even make that decision, right?
Absolutely. And because sometimes it's that fear of what does lie on the other end, which really keeps a lot of women in domestic violent relationships because they've never been involved in the financial decision-making processes of their household. Hence, it's a very daunting crisis they hit. However, there are a couple of tips I would like to give and reassurance to all these women because I have been there, done that, and I've navigated that journey quite successfully myself. So initially, it's quite emotionally traumatic. So the first advice I give to my clients is to take a step back, take a pause, and breathe. As much as it may sound quite overwhelming, you cannot make smart decisions when there's chaos and lack of clarity. So the first step towards even starting to rebuild yourself financially is to surround yourself with like-minded people who become your voice of logic and reason.
When our emotion rises and goes up, our intellect goes down and our ability to be able to think rationally and process things rationally as well.
Yes, absolutely. And Sandra, because like I said, a couple of learnings I would like to share when I was navigating this journey as well is my children were only 5 and 8 years old. I came out of it was unexpected 20-year long-term relationship. And you think you're doing everything right, everything is going well. Suddenly it just pivots that you're not prepared for. So one of the things I wish I had done earlier on through that phase was to have a voice of logic and reason standing next to me to say, Manisha, you are emotionally it's a traumatizing event. Do not make financial decisions when you're in that emotional mindset. So that's one advice or guidance I would love to give anybody going through this process is take a step back, breathe, and reassess your situation, because the decisions you will make if you're in an emotional state are permanent financial decisions, which can actually be at your detriment. So the first thing is find a tribe of like-minded women, which is what both of you offer as part of your program.
We see so many women in this age group who haven't run the finances. They have left it to their husband and they did the house, they did the kids. If you're in a partnership, you think that forever after and you're going to be together and you never anticipate that you might be single in midlife. And so for a lot of ladies, it's a really challenging situation. So what's the more steps that you'd recommend?
Once you've had that emotional check on yourself, the second step is to collate all your financial information. So start off with collecting your bank statements, collecting your superannuation statement, understand who your superannuation is with and how it's invested. Go through any loan documents, because you may never know that maybe there are a couple of loans which exist that you didn't even realize. So the second step, once I feel that you've really had a good emotional check, this is something that will unfold over many months, years and all that. But having that voice of logic and reason to now start making those financial decisions, it's quite critical in the earlier on of the process. Collect all your bank statements, understand exactly where your money is, where your superannuation is, who you invested with, any loan documents, because I have come across clients. In fact, I had one last week whereby her husband had actually opened up a trading account in her name and was trading in shares. And she only uncovered this after they went through the separation or divorce. And the capital gains tax was quite huge on her end, which she did not even realize. She did not even have the understanding of, Manisha, how do I even sell this down? So the first step is start collecting all this information. Life insurance policies. Do you have any life insurance policies? Check the beneficiary. If something were to happen to you, who are the beneficiaries of this policy, including the superannuation as well? So for me, collecting that initial information is quite important.
Debt one's a huge one we see all the time. And even credit cards, they've got
Yes.
names or housing loans. One lady, for an example, had a housing loan with her husband and it was an $800,000 initial loan and they had paid it off. They'd only had about 50,000 owing on it. So she thought, oh, that's okay. We've got $750,000 worth of debt paid off, plus the value of the house has gone up slightly. However, he went into the offset account and he withdrew off the offset account or a line of credit, they could do the same, and took out the funds and actually took out $750,000 and he moved it onto his own account. And he actually used that money to pay off his other debts or his other things that ended up just dissipating and just disappearing. These are the things we've seen over and over, people that had businesses that had spent 30 years together building up a business and he's gone and sold off assets or, so yes, it's about him being a bad person and not all men are like this, but it's about you looking at what is the risk, what is here. And it's certainly making sure that you're coming from a place in your head and not your heart.
Yeah, I 100% agree. You know what, Sandra, and empathy is such a big one, especially when women go through separation. We lead from our heart, and that empathy takes over sound financial decision-making process. The other one, common one I come across is title deeds. So I always encourage my clients. In fact, I tell them to email me a copy of their title deeds because they are under the assumption, especially the wife, under the assumption that they own the home jointly. So there are two ways you can own a home: tenancy in common or joint tenancy. Tenancy in common means basically each person owns a shareholding in the house. So if one person passes away, then it doesn't automatically transfer to the surviving spouse. And joint tenants in couples is what's generally a common practice. But sometimes I've come across cases where the wife is not even aware and her name is not on the title deed. So yes, in terms of property settlement, that may not be an issue because it all comes into one asset pool anyway. However, this is where it really does pose the risk because a lot of women I come across don't have access to cash. So when it comes to representing themselves in the court or affording legal fees, they've not had access to this cash because either they haven't been working because they've been caring for the children. And it's really, I would say, morally and ethically imbalance when it comes to property settlement matters. So I would honestly say gather all your financial information, reach out to experts. So reach out to your accountant or an advisor and say to them, walk me through, explain to me exactly what all this means. No question is a silly question. This is all about really understanding your financial situation because from this point, they're pretty much on their own. So this is so important to get a good handle on it.
A good accountant is critical at this stage. And one of the things that I've seen with ladies, and certainly with if there are investment properties or assets, it might even be and they say you have this property and I'll have this one, but it's an investment property, so it's got capital gains tax on it. Maybe it's a house that they've been living in, but it's in a company or a trust name, so it still has capital gains tax. So you've got to look at what the tax debt or tax obligations are going to be.
Yeah.
And that's got to be part of the settlement and part of the mix at the start.
One of the things that I really encourage ladies to do is to be very vigilant during this time. So you need to go to the bank. You need to tell the bank that you're going through a separation and that you need to secure your accounts. And in that situation that Sandra talked about, where a husband or a wife can redraw the redraw facility, if
Yes.
there's one signature required on an account, it is not illegal for that person to clean out that account. And so I've had numerous women say to me, oh no, he wouldn't do that. He would never do that to me. But I just want to stress between separation and financial settlement, we call it the crazy period. This is a period that people do and say and act in ways that you don't even recognize who that person is. So please do not leave your financial security to chance. Go to the
Yes.
bank, get double signatures put on your accounts, make sure that you have a handle on where the money is and that our money is not getting ciphered away, because that's a real possibility that happens.
You can be transparent with this.
Yeah.
This is not sneaking around behind your ex back. This is you going in and saying, hey, this is what I've done and why I've done it. So we're both protected. I can't
Yeah.
get money out and we've got everything's on the table. And it's been really clear and transparent as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you really hit that nail on the head with having a good accountant on board as well. So when I lean back on my chartered accounting CPA background, when I design the strategies and all the women I see coming from your programs, it's pretty much, I have a tax overlay with the accountant as well. So we're making sure we're not missing anything between myself and the accountant. So again, I highly encourage seek professional advice from a very get-go. The minute you realize this is imminent, it's happening, reach out to the right people and the right professionals to help you navigate this journey really seamlessly. Because remember, it's pretty much, yes, you may go through 2 or 3 years of upheaval. However, the future is still quite long. When you look at your financial or the future trajectory, that's what the aim should be. That's what we're aiming for. How do we come out of this process unscathed? At the end of the day, there are no winners in divorce and separation. There are no winners. If people think, oh, somebody got more than the other, no, there are no winners in this process. But it's how do you put that behind you and overcome that and start planning for a better future. The other one I've come across quite common is digital access to your information. So a lot of clients don't change their passwords. And I know one client, actually, I saw her literally last week. And her husband has got access to her emails, everything, to the point where I couldn't even send her an email. She said, Manisha, can you please call me if you're booking in any appointments? Because he was actually tracking all her moves to the point where they went counseling. And the counselor literally said that you have to take yourself off all this access because it got so toxic that he was literally tracking every move. Pretty much it's very close to domestic violence because you're trying to control somebody else.
Criminal offense, and it's not okay.
It's not okay. But a lot of women were so scared of living long-term relationship because there is a lot of toxic abuse that's happening behind the doors. Financial disempowerment is one of the biggest reasons why women are still living in domestic violence situation. It's the kids and the lack of understanding of money. So this is my mission, my purpose, my passion of everything else I do. It's really empowering women going on this journey saying, hey, you're not alone and we've got this.
Love that.
So, ladies, we really want to encourage you when you're going through your financial settlements, when you're setting yourself up again, when you're moving forward, to treat yourself with the respect that you deserve. If you've been in a marriage and you are a contributing partner to that marriage, that's what we see women being, equal partners through most of the relationships that we come across. Then don't sell yourself short. We don't say to be unfair, but we say to be fair and be fair to yourself, and go after what you are entitled to, and then look after it very carefully as you go forward. And this is all going to take you stepping up and taking some responsibility and having the support system around you to confidently manage your money, because one of the things we definitely don't want to see is you losing your money once you've got it. This is not something that a lot of ladies planned on. You've just got to take your breath, like Manisha said, and then put in place steps that are going to get you the outcome that you need to get to. And your lawyer is not your financial advisor. Lawyers are good at law. They are not financial advisors. They don't understand some of the accounting things. You've got horses for courses, but definitely someone like Manisha, who has a good background as accounting and a financial advisor, she can do modeling and work out what you're going to need to live on and things like that. And it really helps you get that peace of mind. But ladies, Sandra and I want to give you confidence. Both of us have rebuilt ourselves, rebuilt our finances, and have done more in the 8-9 years since we were left in our marriages. We've done more and accrued more and made more and looked after ourselves through this period than we did before. So it's absolutely possible. We see lots of ladies rebuilding, and we want to give you that hope and courage that you can be them and do the very best you can do.
At any age, ladies, any age, it doesn't matter whether you're 70, 80, whether you're 40, 50, any age. We've seen people come through this, and there's ways, there's strategies, there's easier pathways, and listening to somebody that's gone through and maybe done a few of the stumbles themselves so that you can avoid them is definitely the pathway I'd take. And I know, Manisha, you're offering people to be able to give you a free initial call and check in whether it's something they can get help in their area or their unique circumstances with you.
Yes, absolutely. Like you said, so feel free to give me a call. If you need to book in an initial meeting, happy to sit down with them. Like I said, for me, it's a shared experience that I really wish I had this opportunity or chance. When I was navigating my journey, we have this start to the world. We're all professionals in some shape or form, but then I always strip it all down and say, we are a being. Our essence is a being. If you cannot help one human being, or if we cannot help each other, what is the point and purpose of this life? Now, not everybody will resonate to or be on our same wavelength, and that's okay. That's okay. Everyone's got their own journey, but where you get the opportunity to help, I'm more than happy to help them navigate through that if it helps them make a better decision. Yes, I'm available if required.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Now, for people, anyone here that's listening that would like to connect with Manisha and get in contact with her, they can just contact us through the link below. And Manisha, thank you for your time and for sharing and for giving someone some real hope and some practical strategies.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on board. Really appreciate it.
Welcome.
So thank you, everybody. Fiona May, Sandra Lee, signing off, and we look forward to seeing you on our next podcast.
Bye.
So thank you for spending time with us today. I know conversations like this can sometimes stir up emotion. So if something resonated with you, just take a moment to be gentle with yourself. Life after divorce can often feel isolating, but you don't have to do this alone. So if you would like some extra support or connection or guidance, you can learn more about our coaching programs, our 3-day events, and our community at womenontransition.com. And if this episode was helpful, you're more than welcome to subscribe, share it with another woman who might need it, or leave us a positive review. It all helps to make more women be able to find our space. So until next time, remember, you're not broken. This chapter doesn't have to define you. It's simply part of your becoming. See you next time.